And we're just going to hear a few words from our friend Louis Young. Louis is from the community of Bloodvein on the east side of Lake Winnipeg, sort of the port or the doorway to that side that we often call the east side or the East Shore Wilderness, and likely the first community that will be connected by roads in the coming couple of years. And not much else for me to say about Louis, because Louis sort of will say it for himself. So please welcome Louis.
Do you want to use it? Yeah. Do you want to hold it or try it? Okay.
Howdy. Hello, hello, hello. Testing.
Yeah. Speak right into it.
Okay. I jotted down some notes here because if I don't use notes, I might be here for 3 hours. And I might end up talking by myself, and this speaker thing will be sitting on the ground. And
I'll have big muscles.
anyway, I didn't know what the setting was going to be like here, and I've never used one of these before, but that's the way it works. I asked, somebody asked me a question one day, and it's a person I knew when I was in university. And she come to me, we had just both graduated from Brandon, and she was going to be working, teaching adult education, and the majority of her students were going to be Native. And she asked me, how does an Indian person know when he's learned something? I said, I don't know. And she looked at me and she thought I was being silly or something. And I said, what does a real down-to-earth traditional Native elder say when you asked him a question? And she said, I don't know. I said, that's right. And if you ask a real down-to-earth traditional elder question, a serious question that requires some deep thought and wisdom, they will say, I don't know. And they will go real quiet. And if you interrupt that quiet, you will interrupt the response that is about to come, I told her. And I said, I believe what happens when you ask an elder a question and they go quiet like that, they go deep within. They go to where the spirit lives inside. And then they commune with that. They ask that spirit the same question that they were asked. And then they will begin to speak. And then they will amaze you. They will speak a lot better than some of the professors at the university. And they will certainly speak a lot better than some of those politicians at the legislative or parliament. And the answers that come do not come from the mind of the individual, but from the heart, from the soul. And that connection with the spirit inside of them depends on how that individual relates to their environment, with their world, the world in which they live, the universe in which we live. Those elders are in close contact with that spirit world. So when you ask them a question, they connect with that. And then the answer comes from within them. Not from their heads, but from their heart. They say that if you have a foundation like this, like you're grounded on earth, you're grounded with the universe, you feel a sense of security. And they say that when you feel secure, then there's no need to fight. So sometimes when I'm asked to go and take part in a gathering, and we are against this, against that, I'm kind of leery sometimes, because I'd rather be pro something. I'd rather work for something rather than work against. Because in this universe, in this world that we live in, if you're against something, chances are you're going to get into a fight. And that is not very secure, because when you fight, whatever it is you're fighting with will fight back. So this day, this walk for Mother Earth, I like that word in there, for Mother Earth. It's not against something, but bringing attention to the importance of the world in which we live. See, on the east side, they're talking about and still talking about running a hydro line down the east side, and some of us didn't want that, because when you look at the world in which we live, the trees around us breathe in carbon and breathe out oxygen. So when you start cutting those trees down, you start chipping away at our lungs, Mother Earth lungs. So when I say that I don't want our trees cut, it's because I want our future generations to have that oxygen, which is so important for us to live. There are four important ingredients, four important elements for life to exist, and that's earth, wind, fire, and water. And that wind comes from those trees. A couple of weeks ago or so, I wrote an article for Winnipeg Free Press in response to comments about East Side transmission line. And one of the comments that I got was a comment that I made that we learn from our elders, and we learn to have a relationship with the earth, and that we carry the knowledge, the wisdom of our ancestors. And one person responded to that and said, how could Mr. Young know the wisdom of his ancestors that lived here 500 years before Columbus came? Well, this person doesn't know that when I was a little boy, when I was younger than today, my last name is Young, by the way, I remember this old lady, we called her Ago. And Ago used to talk about things from long time ago, and I was just about 5-6 years old, and I guess I must have listened at one time because I remember those teachings from that old lady. And Ago did not get any European education. She did not speak a word of English. When she taught, she was teaching things that she'd learned from her ancestors. So the teachings of our ancestors from way back is even still alive today, because those teachings exist in me and many of you. You heard those teachings when you were growing up. So this person that responded to that Winnipeg Free Press and said that there's no possible way that I could know the teachings of my ancestors, he's the one who does not know what he's talking about. Because we grew up with that. Our elders taught us those things, and they still teach today. What he also doesn't know, that his own people know those teachings. There are people in Europe that still live by the land. Just recently I watched Discovery Channel, and I love watching Discovery Channel, and I saw a documentary about a Russian nomad that found a well-preserved mammoth. And he knew that when he found that, he had to report it to the authorities. And before he did that, he took some vodka and he poured it on the ground to honor the spirit of that mammoth. Here in North America, we lay down tobacco, or we might put down food, or some other articles to honor the spirits. So that thing that this commenter on the Winnipeg Free Press who said that we don't know about our ancestors, he doesn't know about his own ancestors. And the teachings of his ancestors still live today. So the important thing that we need to know is that when we walk for Mother Earth today, that we are talking about maintaining a relationship with the earth and all that live on the earth. And like I said, I had to jot down some notes so I wouldn't speak forever, because once I start talking about the teachings of the earth, I just love listening to myself talk. And I could be here a long time. So I had to just make down some points. This is what I want to say. The relationship that we have with the earth and with each other, that's the important thing that we want to bring across today. We depend on each other. We are interconnected. Everything throughout the universe is connected. And that's the idea, that's my purpose of walking for Mother Earth today. Miigwech, thank you.
That was good. That was a good little break.